Alright, it is 9:26 a.m. June the 10th, 2021, and the main watch list hasn't changed, I think, very much, but GGII would be interesting if it makes like a huge panic below 2 pennies, but I don't think that's going to happen. At least I don't think there's some good chances of that. BB's just going to be a watch, same with AMC. For any setups that I like to trade there, I really don't want to be short these things because they can be very stubborn. When it comes to stubborn stocks, I don't even know. Dude, this was a while ago, but it just reminds me of this one right here. This thing was just so stubborn, the short, right? And it just lasted such a long time, and then it just faded slowly. I don't know if you know the Solo and these two meme stocks are gonna be like that, but I'm gonna keep that in mind. I just don't want to really hold on to that for a really long time. MJWL is interesting because it's at the highs right here, but it's just gonna be a watch. I mean, it could continue a run up, maybe it could be a short, I don't know. It's just gonna be a watch. FBCD, if this thing decides to do a nice crack, ideally below this 18 level, that would be super nice. I'll be interested if this thing has a clean and nice and liquid morning panic bounce play. Ideally, maybe I'll still trade it if it's just clean below volume, but I'd rather not. UONE, it's just gonna be a watch too. This is a second red day. This one trades a little more gracefully than the others. This one might be something to short for a while, I don't know. Just gonna be a wash. And HTZGQ is just gonna be a wash as well. They try to get above 7. It's failed the other day, but it's just gonna be a watch. Maybe it'll do something interesting today. Alright, it is 9:39 a.m. I did try morning panic bounce play here with MJWL, but I was in this trade for a very, very short time period. I only lost $2.50. I had, give or take, a $370 position, and I was there for just I was there for 14 seconds. I just was saying that maybe it could do some bottoming action. I liked it because it is a drop from this 82 level, and it got as low as this 70 level. Big volume candle was right here. I took a buy next minute, 9:36, and my buy was at 7.3, so pretty good. It was at the bottom of this candle right here, right? It was just looking like, alright, maybe it could do something. Then it just started trading around, and then it immediately just started looking like crap, right? Just immediately started trading like crap. And I said, alright, I'm not here to wait for this thing to crack the wick. I'm just gonna not be in this trade anymore because it just looks like it was gonna trade like crap. And it did trade like crap, and I got out at 7.25 right here. I got out at the same candle right here. I got out right here, right, and I bought here, and I got out here, right, and now it looks like it's trying to do it, but no, this thing was just trading so crappy, just such so random, so jumpy. Even here it was still looking iffy. So even though the volume was fading, sure, but this thing is just, I don't want another GGII where it just has this small volume candle bar, but it just rips to a new low, right? So it was just started immediately when I got in the trade. I was like, nope, this thing is trading like trash. I'm gonna get out. It's still trading like trash if you ask me. It just has a crappy spread. It wasn't as bad as the other one, I think, but I immediately got out because I just didn't like the way this one was trading. It did touch VWAP. I'll still watch it, but yeah, that's about it. GGII, I was hoping this thing could crack 2 pennies. It did not crack 2 pennies. Instead, it spiked from 2 to 23. I could have taken a buy here, but I didn't. I don't regret that too much. I wanted this thing to panic, really, not do a spike. We'll see how high this thing goes, but I don't mind that I got out because this thing was trading like trash, really. BB, nothing I want. It's just random right now. AMC is random too. HTZGQ was trying to make an uptrend, but it's not really that important. I might just remove this. It might be just wasting my time. UONE, I would be interested in shorting this stock. If it can do a nice spike, I don't see why not be interested in shorting it. you know, trying to find the backside and maybe, you know, hold on to it for more than a day perhaps. FBCD, nothing I want to trade here either. If I had to guess, MJWL is going to do a nice spike, but I wasn't there for it because it was trading like absolute trash, and I didn't want to be in here at 7.3 and be like, alright, gonna cut losses when it breaks the wick. That's just too much risk for me. We'll see what it does. Okay, it's 10:08 a.m. I just want to make a recap. I was looking at UONE for a short, but we had this just huge drop right here, and that kind of ruined the pattern. I'm just gonna watch it for now. You know, it could just consolidate here at this point. It really changed the pattern when we just had this sharp drop like this. Maybe the volume in here isn't that good enough. GGII, it looks like it's trying to hold VWAP. I don't really want to short something that is this beaten down. You know, it would have been nice if this thing cracked 2 pennies, but it didn't do it. BB is nothing I want to trade. MJWL did get to 84, but it did have a follow-up drop. So I bought, where was it? I think I bought here, and then I sold here. Just sketchy price action, volume was fading. And this is what I'm talking about. Look how low the volume is here, but look how it just brought the price from 76 to 72. That's something I didn't want to be a part of with MJWL. Didn't want to risk the freaking wick here and then cut losses. So I cut the trade very quickly. Did get here, VWAP rejected it, and then it dropped to 72.1, give or take. And that's when it didn't move the 84, so it's being very choppy like GGII was. So that makes me less interested in trading this in the future. It looks like it might try to hold VWAP here. You know, I don't know what it could do. It could do a nice run up. I mean, if it's, you know, above these highs, or it might consolidate. It might down. It might do whatever it wants. I don't see a clear setup there, so I'm not going to trade it. HTZGQ, nothing here I want to trade. UONE again. I might have been confused. Yeah, no, I already mentioned this. This was a head and shoulders possibility, and FBCD doesn't look nice either. Just a quick update. Nothing I want to trade right now. Okay, it's 11:46. I just came back from a nap actually. Just haven't had that much sleep recently, working on a lot of stuff. But MJWL, nothing I really want to trade. It's just gonna be a recap to see, you know, what has changed. GGII, I was looking at this, you know, thinking maybe it'd break to whenever it did. This one's just consolidating at its lows. It looks like AMC is down a bit more, but this drop is later in the day. I would not have considered this for a morning panic bounce play because of the fact that, you know, it is later in the day. I would have considered maybe an inverse head and shoulders. That has not happened yet, if it is, so I'll just keep that in mind. I'll watch it. BB is nothing I want to trade. Looks like it's trying to hold itself above this 1430-ish level. You know, maybe it'll try to reverse. It might try to reverse. This is the one I did miss, UONE, although it wasn't perfect. It just rejected VWAP and had this nice drop. I was watching this for a panic, some kind of a short selling setup, and this one did it in that sense. I was watching the head and shoulders here. Big red candle just kind of wiped it out. You know, it could do anything from there. Looks like it just started to consolidate and then not really be able to get past VWAP. Maybe if I was there I would have considered shorting it, but you know, I don't know. It wasn't perfect, although I was really watching this for a panic. And this one did it from what, the 1640 level to 1540, so just $1 on the $15 $16 stock, so it's not that much in terms of percentage. It could be worse though. This one did work out nicely, and it was, if you ask me, rather clean. Maybe I would have covered here if I shorted, just not extremely sure if it's gonna break the day low, not including the wick. You know, might have covered somewhere into here. I honestly don't know. But this would have been a nice setup to short into, that's for sure. Didn't miss anything else, nothing crazy happened. I'll be looking casually, but there might not be any more trades today. Alright, it is 1:37 p.m. I had one very quick trade. I wasn't in it for very long. Just under a minute. Really was a short trade. It was this GME right here. This was a dip buy. Not a dip buy, but an inverse head and shoulders. Shoulder, head, shoulder. And my buy was at 127, almost 128. So right here. Took a buy right here. And I was just risking off of 240. I knew it wasn't an exact size because we had a few dips there, and I sold into this wicked looking candle when it kind of cracked the level. I could have waited and maybe have gotten out for a smaller loss, but it doesn't matter because I only traded one share, and it looks like the pattern is kind of working. Shoulder, head, shoulder, but it just got much lower than what I thought, what I had in mind for a risk. Maybe I was too tight on my risk. Maybe I should have just waited for, you know, like maybe 2 green candles in a row before I get into a buy. But you know, in theory 239, and then it gets to 242. Maybe it puts up a higher low here and it keeps uptrending. Best case scenario, maybe it tries to head towards VWAP, although that would be kind of impressive. So yeah, this thing will probably work without me. Just was probably too tight on my risk level. It's not an exact science. Should have probably had that in mind, but I can take a lesson and, you know, a tiny $2 loss, just a small trade, and see how it goes from there. I'll make an update to see how this one does eventually, but right now there's nothing else that I'm really interested in. Alright, it is 7:16. I'm here to just call it off and see what happened towards the end of the day. At some point, I think right here at GME, I was interested in just to try it out because I just watched one webinar from Mark Crook about it was one of the 2 webinars he has that introduces options. And I actually thought about options because I thought, okay, maybe it's a inverse head and shoulder, shoulder, head, and then shoulder. I thought the shoulder would where was it? I think it right. I think the shoulder. I think I got faked out right here. You know, I was probably just playing it too exact. That's a good lesson. And when it was here, the second higher low, I thought about it briefly, you know, for an option, right? But it didn't work out because right here we have the option expiring on the 11th, which is great because that's the next day. And the issue is that with Schwab, their options on the other account where I am able to trade options, it just, the closest day, right, was the 18th, and that's a bit too far away. You have to pay a pretty big premium for that because there was so much time, you know, ahead from that expiration. So that's why I didn't consider it, and it just, you know, probably shouldn't have been something you know, I should have thought about anyway, because of the fact that I didn't even spike to the neckline. It wasn't that strong. Just continue to fade down 23% right now, but it was a lot worse at some point because it was as low as this 211-ish level. So that's the end with that. GGII, never really considered it. It had a spike. Wanted it to break 2, but it didn't. Instead it had a spike. It could have jumped in on the spike, sure, but again, I'm just not really good with those. It just spike at the market open. I'm not good at those at all. I don't. It's not something I even consider, you know, right now into getting good at. Like the other setups and getting better at other things. This was an inverse head and shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder. And this one actually worked out. Maybe this one I could have benefited with an option. I have no idea. But this one did it right here. Wasn't bad because it actually broke the neckline. Right, just a little bit from that 44 level, but still nice. BB. Nothing here I wanted to trade. UONE. I considered shorting it. This big red candle threw it off. And then I wasn't here for this. I don't know if I would have even considered shorting it, thinking it's going to not hold VWAP, it's not going to give has VWAP and just head down, but you know, it did downtrend and it stayed near the low, so that's impressive. I'll be looking at it tomorrow, but not that much, not too interested in it, at least that's what I think right now. HTZGQ, nothing I wanted to trade here. I guess it did try to run past 7 again and it rejected, but it is holding now at the 680 level, so that might actually be impressive. It needs more volume, more volatility but that is impressive that it's holding the 680s. MJWL, yeah, it's one of those stocks again that just has an uptrend later in the day. I thought that it could do something like this several times. I even considered like a trade for it, but I never did it because it was at the highs right here, and normally I see something like that on a stock like GGII. As you can tell, it kind of did it at the end of the day, where it just has this massive spike, but it's normally at the lows. This is a bit different that it did it later in the day, so that's pretty impressive in that sense. Maybe if I watched it even closer, I would have considered trading it, but I wasn't sure if it was going to do a run up like that, because normally that is at the bottom of the range in terms of a daily chart. But that's a good thing to learn. 2 trades, very small position sizes. I lost, it was just negative $4.58. I am trading small on these speculative trades. Could have profited a bit. Could have profited. Could have profited nice from that UONE short had I have taken it, whether it would have been here or here. Could have in theory been in MJWL. Which one was it? GGII, when it had that spike initially in the morning. But besides that, I don't regret it. Just a good day, a lot of lessons learned. Hopefully I can push myself and trade large position sizes on setups I seem to feel more confident in. And that's all I have to do, just keep going at it and not give up.